Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to speak directly to the parents of babies and toddlers out there, especially those of you who are raising your children in a country where the majority language is not your first language. I know you might sometimes worry, if I speak to my baby in my native language, they might struggle to learn English. Well, I'm here to tell you confidently, no, they will be just fine. In fact, you can give your child an incredible gift by speaking to them in your own heart language. And I want to share why, based not only on what research tells us, but also on my own personal story as a bilingual person and as a mom raising 3 bilingual children. Let's be honest, in countries like the US, Canada, the UK, where English is the majority language, there's often this pressure to just switch to English at home. Maybe a well-meaning friend or even a doctor has told you, if you want your child to do well in school, you should speak English with them right now. Or maybe you're thinking, but I didn't grow up here. What if my English isn't good enough? And what if my child gets left behind? I want to pause here and say, you are not alone in these worries. But here's a beautiful truth, and it's backed by decades of research. Children are fully capable of learning more than one language, and they don't get confused or delayed by hearing you speak your primary language at home. So what does the science actually tell us? From the time they're born, babies' brains are wired to pick up all the sounds they hear. In fact, research shows that by around 6 to 8 months, babies begin tuning their brains to the sounds of the languages they're regularly exposed to. If you speak Portuguese, Spanish, Mandarin, Arabic, French, your baby is naturally absorbing the sounds, rhythms, and patterns of your language. And here's the amazing part. Studies consistently show that bilingual children do not fall behind in learning the community or majority language. Why? Because they get plenty of exposure to the majority language at school, in daycare, at the playground, through the media, and the community at large. The key factor for success isn't what language you speak at home. It's how much rich, meaningful language interaction your child gets with you. In other words, talk to your baby, sing to your baby, read to your baby in your language, in your heart language. Let me share a little bit about my own journey. I'm a native Portuguese speaker. My husband speaks Spanish natively, but we live in the United States where, of course, English is all around us. When my first son was born, I made the decision to speak only Portuguese with him. It felt natural. It's the language of my heart, the language I pray in, the language my own parents spoke to me. By the time he was a toddler, he was understanding Portuguese beautifully. And when he started playing with other children, watching English shows, and later attending programs outside the home, he picked up English, and he picked it up effortlessly. Today, he's 7 years old and his English is completely native. He reads, writes, and speaks in English confidently. And he also understands and speaks Portuguese. The same has been true for my 5-year-old. I've never had to worry that they were behind in English just because I was speaking my own language at home. And here's something I want you to get excited about. Not only does speaking your language at home not hurt your child, it actually gives them huge advantages. Research shows that bilingual children often have greater cognitive flexibility. They can switch between tasks more easily. They have better problem solving and creative thinking skills, a stronger sense of cultural identity and connection to family. You are giving your child the gift of knowing where they come from. The stories, the songs, prayers, and humor that live in your family's language. That's priceless. Now, some of you might still wonder, but what if my child starts school and struggles with English? Here's what the research shows. Once a child has a solid foundation in one language, they can transfer those language and literacy skills to a second language. That means if your child learns to think, express themselves, and understand stories in your home language, they're actually building tools that will help them succeed in English later on. And remember, they are surrounded by English. You don't have to teach it. They will pick it up naturally, especially if they enter preschool or kindergarten. In addition to my children's story, I want to encourage you with my own. I was born in the US, but moved to Brazil when I was only 8 months old. I didn't come back to the United States until I was 7, and only at that point was I exposed to English. My parents were very intentional that at home we only spoke Portuguese, no English. We also went to a Brazilian church where services and all of the programs were in Portuguese. My only exposure to English was at school and on TV, and that's it. And yet, I learned English just fine. I went on to do well in school. I went to college, and later I even earned my master's degree. All of this having grown up in a household where only Portuguese was spoken. English didn't just appear magically overnight, of course, but the point is, children's brains are designed to soak up the language they need from the environment around them. I want to end with this encouragement. You are the expert on your child. You are their first and most important teacher. And the language that flows most naturally from your heart is the language your child deserves to hear. Please don't hold back your beautiful words, your stories, your songs, your jokes, just because you're worried about English. Trust that your child's brain was made by God to handle more than one language. Trust that the world they're growing up in will give them the English that they need. But only you can give them your language, and that's a gift no one else can give.